There's another more literal type of power we use every day. Electricity. It keeps our lights, our TVs, and our homes running. In Missouri, millions of people will soon notice a change in utility bills because of how the state wants you charged for power. Simply put, it's a matter of supply and demand. Evergy's use is at its highest between 4 and 8 p.m. when the kids come home from school and you're making dinner, doing chores. Well, now you can be charged more money for the electricity you use during that time. Evergy says this time-based rate system is tied to the cost of producing the energy. It costs more and uses more resources to supply customers and homes during peak times. Running an appliance could cost 4 times as much. Conversely, it costs less to generate power during off-peak times, so in some cases you're charged less. As of right now, Evergy gives customers a handful of options to choose from. You have to pick one by October 1st or be put on a default plan. We'll talk more about this in a second. Basically, this is a push to change habits in an effort to lower costs across the board.
There's simple things that our customers can do where it doesn't have to be a huge behavior change. There are a lot of smart appliances where you can delay the start of your dishwasher going, so you can load it after dinner and delay it a couple hours so it runs after 8 p.m.
There's a lot to process and plenty of pushback from customers. And if that's not confusing enough, we are seeing a lot of movement right now behind the scenes with Evergy's plans. For weeks, Evergy's been telling people about the default rate called the Standard Peak Saver. Greatly raises prices during peak hours during weekdays. You see it here. They've also been saying that you could switch between plans whenever you want. Well, now the Missouri Public Service Commission says Evergy is asking state regulators to allow them to change the default to another flatter plan seen here and also limit rate switching. They're also pitching an option to let residential customers opt into a more traditional rate they're used to paying as soon as May of next year before the summer hits. The company's chief customer officer wrote in part, Evergy has always advocated for customer rate choice and does not support mandated time-based rates. But again, these are mandatory and customers have a lot of questions. We're working to get answers with Dr. Larry Wigger, Associate Teaching Professor of Supply Chain Management at UMKC. Thanks for being here. This is a mandatory decision by the state of Missouri. Customers don't really have a choice here. So what's the goal in Missouri right now?
I mean, the goal ultimately is to begin to shift consumer behavior. You know, we all know that electric grids have been taxed recently, whether it's cooling issues in southern states. The products that consumers are drawing from the grid with, we're trying to change that. So when you think about the move to electric appliances, and you know, plug-in hybrid vehicles, battery electric vehicles, obviously that's more demand on the grid. And you know, you think about the time of day, and so especially those summer months that are carved out, that what is it, June, July, August, September, 4 to 8 p.m. for Evergy here in Missouri. I mean, what happens at 4 p.m.? People come home from work, they come home from school, they turn on the TV, they crank the air conditioning up to cool the house, they do the laundry, they cook the dinner, they plug in their car maybe. And so that's a huge load on the grid.
What's the impact for customers here too? Because like you said, that's the time that they're using most everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the risk is the grid can't keep up. And so, you know, part of what we're trying to do, as opposed to a tax, is to use market pricing to drive consumer behavior. So to say, let's match up the price with when things are actually being used. And so that peak usage time, let's make that the peak price time. So anything a consumer can change, they can shift to lower cost points in the day.
How is this going to work realistically for Missourians? Because it's going to take a lot to try and change habits. Are people just going to end up paying more?
I mean, there'll certainly be a good bit of that. I think people have to be thoughtful. And there are simple things that we can do, right? I mean, I don't know about you, but I know my dishwasher has a delay start button on it, right? So hit that button 2 or 3 times and it starts after I'm asleep when it's off of peak hours. Programming your car for when it's being charged. Thinking about when you dry your clothes. I mean, that's another big one, electric dryers with your laundry. So if you can start it after midnight, or if you're an early riser, you dry your clothes at 5 a.m. Those are things that we can do that will be noticeable.
Give us some perspective here. I know other states have moved to this before Missouri was even thinking about it. How has that gone and what's the reception been?
I think similar to here, it's some confusion, some frustration with the why, and some feeling that it's energy companies, you know, making a money grab. But obviously, again, this is directed by, you know, Missouri Public Service Commission, you know, and it's in an effort to try and level load the power usage. Those peak times we can't pull from our most efficient, lowest cost sources, our cleanest sources, right? Something like a nuclear reactor, you can't turn it up, turn it down, right? It's one level load. And so we need to use those peak generators that are burning natural gas at a higher cost, that's dirtier, to meet that peak demand.
We should mention in Kansas, this is completely optional, this time-based rate system through Evergy right now.
Sure.
Do you think regulators in Kansas are watching Missouri very closely right now?
Oh, I'm sure, and part of it is gauging the public reaction. And the more states that get on board, the last time I looked at a statistic, I want to say about 5% of consumers across the U.S. are in some sort of time-based plan, depending upon the state they're in. So the more that are on board, the more states are on board, I think the more we'll see other states make the jump.
Mm-hmm. Grid-wise, I mean, you're a supply chain guy. How's the grid doing right now if it was just status quo?
I mean, it's pretty taxed, and we know occasionally we see rolling brownouts, and depending upon the states you're in. Yeah, we're kind of maxed out. One way to think about this for the consumer who's frustrated or anxious about it, we call this yield management, is the management principle, and it's no different than when you're traveling, right? And if you buy your plane ticket or your hotel room at the last minute, you're going to get a better deal. So it's when you're dealing with something that has a fixed capacity and you can't pull a lever and increase it like a hotel or an airplane or power generation, you need to drive the consumer behavior.
Something's got to give, right? All right, Dr. Larry Wigger, thank you very much.
Sure, absolutely, my pleasure.